We're wondering, how did you first find the course, and what was it that attracted you to the course?
I first found the course because I've been studying with Elizabeth and Michael, and they have completely changed my musical life. Because I really was struggling vocally, I really was limited, or I thought I was limited in what repertoire I could do. I couldn't figure out where I might fit, and they showed me that I could do more than I ever dreamed. And one thing that was more than I ever dreamed was singing Wagner. I never thought in a million years I would. And I'm learning the role of Fricka for a production of Das Rheingold. And Elizabeth and Michael said, we are doing a class, why don't you audition, because it would be an intensive introduction. So that's what attracted me, the introduction to first dip my toe into this really powerful repertoire. If my previous repertoire was like, riding a bicycle down the road, this was like riding a wild Harley motorcycle off-roading, and you're having to learn how to stay on and navigate this whole new repertoire. And I found it's viscerally exciting, it's emotional, it's got everything.
Particular aspects of the course? You obviously knew the coaches, but
I was just another chance to work closely with Linda on diction and interpretation. German is not my strongest language, and so it's nice to work with somebody who's really intensely connected to the drama and the text, because even when she just explains a different way of inflecting the word, it changes the way you think about it, it changes the way you produce it vocally, and it changes the way you present it.
Befreit der Bruder, und sein Trümmerbrett liegt, was sie getrennt. Jauchzend grüßt sich das junge Paar vereint. Sind Liebe und Lenz.
Linda helps me to think about every word, and then especially singers, like using singer's gesture. But if you're really into the character, you gesture like that character. So it's not fake. So that helps me a lot.
Has there been a particular highlight? Is there something that really stands out for you?
Between Elizabeth just getting me through Turandot, believe me, she's sung the role so many times, and for her to just give me the little details as to what to look for is just, that alone, and Maestro Ricchiuti's just energy, it's been amazing, and something I'll take with me, that's for sure.
Marie, we were wondering, what was it that attracted you to this particular course compared with other opportunities?
Mm-hmm. I have to say that it was Elizabeth, that I am familiar with her work, and when I saw that she was involved with something, that I would have an opportunity to work with her, I was like, I gotta do that. I have to try to do that, because she knows exactly the repertoire that I'm coming into. She sings it in uniquely a way that I admire, and I really wanted to work with her. And once I came to the program, it was such a wealth of rich experiences that I was able to have with not only her, but also with Michael and Dietlinde and Eric and my colleagues.
Fantastic. And now, looking back, has there been any particular highlights that really you found as a positive experience?
One highlight was our masterclass with Mary Lou Falcone and her encouragement to everyone to communicate. That her entire ethos was just take a chance. Like, literally, what do you have to lose in this room? It's a safe space. If I give you an idea, why not take it all the way? Or try something that might be too much or too little, or you might decide, I'm never going to do that again. So I saw that as the night that we all opened up. And somehow she helped to put that energy in the room of, this is a safe space, and let's all just try. Just try it.
And now that you've gone through the course and you're looking back, did it fulfill your wishes?
Totally, because I think that thanks to Dietlinde, I worked a lot on how to have a better understanding of the character and be the character on stage. And also what we were discussing about with Elizabeth is like when you're on stage and you interpret the character, and you become really the character, then after you're sort of vulnerable in a certain way, but because you're giving everything of yourself, but at the same time, you're alone, you don't see anyone, you're just like by yourself interpreting someone.
So Abigail, thank you so much for a lovely, entertaining afternoon with some beautiful arias. Thank you.
My pleasure.
We were wondering, what was it that first attracted you to this particular course?
Well, Eric Malson, the accompanist, recommended it to me, and Eric's word is gold.
And is there anything that's stood out to you as being different in the way this course has approached issues compared with other courses you may have been on?
Well, first of all, I have to say that I don't know whether it happened naturally or whether it was happy coincidence or whether the instructors did it on purpose, but they fostered such an atmosphere of collegiality among the students that it was really a pleasure to work with everybody. The atmosphere was so supportive and so encouraging that it made it much easier to work.
Thank you. And were there any particular highlights for you personally?
Yes, my sessions with Dietlinde were incredibly helpful.
So Daniel, we're wondering, what was the aspect of this course that stood out when you first applied that attracted you to it?
I think the aspect that I was most intrigued by was the intensity of how many lessons and sessions and classes were going to happen in one time frame. I live in the city, so it was kind of really nice to just take the subway down and just focus on singing for a couple days.
Okay, and now that you've been through the course and you're looking back, were there particular highlights that have been most valuable to you?
I think the highlights were the expertise of Dietlinde, Elizabeth, and Michael, and really them offering a safe space for us to really challenge ourselves and learn something new and really be inspired to grow.
Perdono Oh, sa colui le braccia del tuo perdono aprir.
Chantel, what was it that originally attracted you to the course?
Well, the legacy of Lauren Mizell is just so, I mean, there aren't really words for that. It's just so formative in my experience of recordings that I liked and et cetera. But then the opportunity to be here in New York, because I'm in the metropolitan area, and to work with such incredible artists, and to perfect things that you don't often get an opportunity to perfect, and specifically in repertoire that I feel an affinity for.
So were there particular aspects, now that you look back on the course, that you feel you've benefited from?
Oh, the diction and the diction, I can't even begin to say how much I valued that. But also working with Dietlinde and specifically about text painting, because oft I feel like we translate and then you kind of are left in this nebulous sort of floaty thing. And I guess that's when you see this, singers with their eyes kind of like drifting in these weird gestures, because you're not really having a conversation, and it doesn't seem genuine. But sort of the freedom to explore the intricacies of the language and the beauty of just the consonants and the sounds that are inherent to it. Also vocally speaking, getting a handle on the thrust. I mean, learning to sing with thrust as opposed to muscling out huge sound. I mean, that was just fab.
Ritten wir ängstlich so her. Voll als mutige Helden mit Wallfahrt. Einsam zu Ross oder ruhig noch Kraft, doch steif ihr als Wanderer die Welt. Jüngst kehrte heim. In der Hand hielt seine Speersplitter.
Is there anything that you would like to see changed if you were creating this course yourself?
I think it could be a little longer.
I'd love for it to be longer.
I just wish it was longer.
I think everything was maybe a little longer. It was so exciting, feeling like you really picked up steam around day 3 or 4, and you're like, man, I wish we could just keep going every day.
I would even wish to make it longer. So